topic for today is medical oxygen demystified. One can manage without food for a month to manage without water for a couple of days, but without oxygen to breathe, one will not survive beyond a few minutes. All living organisms need oxygen on Earth. Oxygen is also known as life gas, PRAANA VAAYU. Major constituent of atmospheric air is nitrogen, followed by oxygen, O2. A breathing gas is a mixture of gaseous chemical elements and compounds used for respiration. Air is the most common but only natural breathing gas. And other mixes of gases or pure oxygen are also used in breathing equipment and enclosed habitats such as scuba equipment, surface supply diving equipment, recompression chambers, high altitude mountaineering, high flying aircraft, submarines, space suits, spacecraft, medical life support and first aid equipment and anesthetic machines. Oxygen is an essential component for any breathing gas. A partial pressure of between roughly 0.16 and 1.6 bar at the ambient pressure. The oxygen is usually the only metabolically active component unless the gas is an anesthetic mixer. Some of the oxygen in the breathing gas is consumed by the metabolic process and the inert components are unchanged and serve mainly to dilute the oxygen to an appropriate concentration and are therefore also known as diluent gases. Most breathing gases therefore are a mixture of oxygen and one or more inert gases. Other breathing gases have been developed to improve on the performance of ordinary air by reducing the risk of decompression sickness, reducing the duration of decompression stops, reducing nitrogen narcosis, or allowing the risk of decompression sickness, reducing the duration of decompression stops, reducing nitrogen narcosis, or allowing safer deep diving. A safe breathing gas for a hyperbaric use, like in deep sea diving, has three essential features. It must contain sufficient oxygen to support life, consciousness, and work rate of the breather. It must not contain harmful contaminants. Carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide are common poisons which can contaminate breathing gases. There are many other possibilities. It must not become toxic when being breathed at high pressure, such as when underwater. Oxygen and hydrogen are examples of gases that become toxic under pressure. The techniques used to fill diving cylinders with the gases other than air are called gas blending. Breathing gases for use at ambient pressures below normal atmospheric pressure are usually air enriched with oxygen to provide sufficient oxygen to maintain life and consciousness at allow higher levels of exertion than would be possible using air. It is common to provide the additional oxygen as a pure gas added to the breathing air at inhalation or through a life support system. Air is a mixture of about 21% oxygen, 78% nitrogen, and approximately 1% other trace gases, primarily argon. Of course, it has carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, and all unwanted stuff. Risk of acute oxygen toxicity increases rapidly at pressures greater than 6 meters seawater. Nitrox is a mixture of oxygen and air and generally refers to the mixtures which have more than 21% oxygen. Oxygen O2 must be present in every breathing gas. This is because it is essential to the human body's metabolic process which sustains life. The human body cannot store oxygen or later use as it does with the food. If the body is deprived of oxygen for more than a few minutes, unconsciousness and death will result. The tissues and organs within the body, notably the heart and the brain, are damaged if deprived of oxygen for much longer than 4 minutes. Oxygen has historically been obtained by fractional distillation of liquid air but it is increasingly obtained by non-cryogenic technologies such as pressure swing adsorption (PSA) and vacuum swing adsorption (VSA) technologies. The concentration of oxygen in a gas mix depends on the fraction of the pressure of the mixer. It is expressed by the partial pressure of oxygen PO2. The partial pressure of any component gas is a mixer is calculated as partial pressure is equal to total absolute pressure multiplied by volume fraction of gas component. For the oxygen component, PO2 is equal to P times FO2, where PO2 is partial pressure of oxygen, P is the total pressure, FO2 is the volume fraction of oxygen content. The minimum safe partial pressure of oxygen in breathing gas is commonly held to be 16 kilopascals, 0.16 bar. Carbon dioxide, CO2, is produced by the metabolism in the human body and can cause carbon dioxide poisoning. When breathing gas is recycled in a rebreather or life support system, human body the carbon dioxide is removed by scrubbers before the gas is reused. Carbon monoxide, CO, is a highly toxic gas that competes with the dioxygen for binding to hemoglobin, thereby preventing the blood from carrying. It is typically produced by incomplete combustion. Standards for breathing gas quality are published by national and international organizations and may be enforced in terms of legislation. Breathing gases for use at reduced ambient pressure are used for high altitude flight in unpressurized aircraft, in space flight, particularly in spacesuits, and for high altitude mountaineering. In all these cases, the primary consideration is providing an adequate partial pressure of oxygen. In some cases, the breathing gas has oxygen added to make up a sufficient concentration, and in other cases, the breathing gas may be pure or nearly pure oxygen. Closed circuit systems may be used to conserve the breathing gas, which may be limited supply. In the case of mountaineering, the user must carry the supplemental oxygen, and in space flight, the cost of lifting mass into orbit is very high. Medical use of breathing gas other than air includes oxygen therapy, and anesthesia applications. Oxygen is required by people for normal cell metabolism. Air is typically 21% oxygen by volume, as I said before. This is normally sufficient, but in some circumstances, the oxygen supply in tissues is compromised. Oxygen therapy, also known as supplemental oxygen, is the use of oxygen as a medical treatment. This can include for low blood oxygen, carbon monoxide toxicity, cluster headaches, and to maintain enough oxygen while inhaled anesthetics are given. Long-term oxygen is often used in people with a chronically low oxygen, such as from severe COPD or cystic fibrosis. Oxygen can be given in a number of ways, including nasal cannula, face mask, and inside a hyperbaric chamber. High concentration of oxygen can cause oxygen toxicity, such as lung damage or result in respiratory failure in those who are predisposed. It can also dry out the nose and increase the risk of fires in those who smoke. The target oxygen saturation recommended depends on the condition being treated. In most conditions, a saturation of 94 to 98% is recommended, while in those at risk of carbon dioxide retention, saturations the editing side by side. Carbon dioxide retention saturations of 88 to 92% are preferred, and in those with carbon monoxide toxicity, or cardiac arrest, the saturation should be as high as possible. Use of oxygen in medicine became common around 1970. It is on the World Health Organization's list of essential medicines, the safest and most effective medicines needed in a health system. The cost of home oxygen is about US dollars 150 a month in Brazil and US dollars 400 a month in the US. Home oxygen can be provided either by oxygen tanks or an oxygen concentrator. Oxygen is believed to be the most common treatment given in hospitals in the developed world. Hypoxia, a condition in which the body or a region of the body is deprived of adequate oxygen supply at the tissue level. Hypoxia may be classified as either generalized, affecting the whole body, or local, affecting a region of the body. Although hypoxia is often a pathological condition, variations in arterial oxygen concentrations can be a part of the normal physiology. For example, during hypoventilation, training, or strenuous physical exercise, hypoxia differs from hypoxemia and anoxemia in that hypoxia refers to a state in which oxygen supply is insufficient, whereas hypoxemia and anoxemia refers specifically in states that have low or zero arterial oxygen supply. Hypoxia is in which there is complete deprivation of oxygen supply is referred to as anoxia. Generalized hypoxia occurs in healthy people when they ascend to high altitude, where it causes altitude sickness leading to potentially fatal complications. High altitude pulmonary edema, HAPE, and high altitude cerebral edema, HAC. Hypoxia also occurs in healthy individuals when breathing mixes of gases with a low oxygen content, that is, example, while diving underwater, especially when using closed circuit rebreather systems that control the amount of oxygen in the supplied air. Mild, non-damaging, intermittent hypoxia is used intentionally during altitude training to develop an athletic performance adaptation at both the systemic and cellular level. In acute or silent hypoxia, a person's oxygen level in blood cells and tissue can drop without any initial warning, even though the individual's chest X-ray shows diffuse pneumonia with an oxygen level below normal. Doctors report cases of silent or hypoxia with COVID-19 patients who did not experience shortness of breath or coughing until their oxygen levels had plummeted to such a degree that the patients risked acute respiratory distress, ARDS, and organ failure. In a New York Times opinion piece published on April 20, 2020, emergency room Dr. Richard Leviton reports a vast majority of COVID-19 pneumonia patients I met had remarkably low oxygen saturations at triage, seemingly incompatible with life, but they were doing the cell phones, using the cell phones as we put them on monitors. Hypoxia is a common complication of preterm birth. People need a cell phone even when they are dying. Premature infants frequently possess underdeveloped lungs. To improve lung function, doctors frequently place infants at risk of hypoxia inside incubators, also known as humidity cribs that provide warmth, humidity, and oxygen. More serious cases are treated with the CPAP. The 2019 Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine was awarded to William G. Kellin Jr., Sir Peter J. Radcliffe, and Greg L. Semenza in recognition of the discovery of cellular mechanisms to sense and adapt to different oxygen concentrations, establishing a basis for how oxygen levels affect physiological functions. The symptoms of generalized hypoxia depend on its severity and acceleration of onset. In the case of altitude sickness, where hypoxia develops gradually, the symptoms include fatigue, numbness, tingling of extremities, nausea, and cerebral anoxia. These symptoms are often difficult to identify, but early detection of symptoms can be critical. In severe hypoxia or hypoxia of very rapid onset, ataxia, confusion, disorientation, hallucinations, behavioral change, severe headaches, reduced level of consciousness, papilledema, breathlessness, pallor, tachycardia, and pulmonary hypertension, eventually leading to the late cyanosis, slow heart rate, pulmonary, and low blood pressure, followed by heart failure, eventually leading to shock and death. Because hemoglobin is a darker red when it is not bound to oxygen, deoxyhemoglobin, as opposed to the rich red color that it has when bound to oxygen, oxyhemoglobin. When seen through the skin, it has an increased tendency to reflect blue light back to the eye. In cases where the oxygen is displaced by another molecule, such as carbon dioxide, the skin may appear cherry red instead of cyanotic. Hypoxia can cause premature birth and injure the liver, among other deleterious effects. Oxygen passively diffuses in the lung alveoli according to the pressure gradient. Oxygen diffuses from the breath air mixed with water vapor to arterial blood, where its partial pressure is around 100 millimeters of mercury, which is equivalent to 13.3 kilopascals. In the blood, oxygen is bound to hemoglobin, a protein in red blood cells. The binding capacity of hemoglobin is influenced by the partial pressure of oxygen in the environment, as described in the oxygen hemoglobin dissociation curve. A smaller amount of oxygen is transported in solution in the blood. In peripheral tissues, oxygen again diffuses down a pressure gradient into cells and the mitochondria, where it is used to produce energy in conjunction with the breakdown of glucose, fats, and some amino acids. Hypoxia can result from a failure at any stage in the delivery of oxygen to cells. This can include decreased partial pressures of oxygen, problems with the diffusion of oxygen in the lungs, insufficient available hemoglobin, problems with the blood flow to the end tissue, and problems with the breathing rhythm. Experimentally, oxygen diffusion becomes rate limiting and lethal when arterial oxygen partial pressure falls below 60 mm of mercury, which is equivalent to 5.3 kilopascals or below. Almost all the oxygen in the blood is bound to hemoglobin. Blood only circulates oxygen to all the tissues in the body, cells, so interfering with these carrier molecule limits oxygen delivery to the periphery. Hemoglobin increases the oxygen carrying capacity of blood by about 40-fold. The blood circulation maintains the temperature also, with the ability of hemoglobin to carry besides supplying oxygen. Carry oxygen influenced by the partial pressure of oxygen in the environment, a relationship described in the oxygen hemoglobin dissociation curve. This is what I said before. And the ability of hemoglobin to carry oxygen is interfered with a hypoxic state can result. Ischemia, meaning insufficient blood flow to a tissue, can also result in hypoxia. This is called ischemic hypoxia. They call it a ischemic stroke also. This can include an embolic event, a heart attack that decreases overall blood flow, or a trauma to a tissue that results in damage. An example of insufficient blood flow causing local hypoxia is gangrene that occurs in diabetes. Diseases such as peripheral vascular disease can also result in local hypoxia. For these reasons, symptoms are worse when a limb is used. Pain may also be felt as a result of increased hydrogen ions, leading to a decrease in blood pH, acidity created as a result of anaerobic metabolism. This refers specifically to hypoxic states where the arterial content of oxygen is insufficient. Hypoxemic hypoxia can be caused by alterations in respiratory drive, such as respiratory alkalosis, everything should be bad. Physiological or pathological shunting of blood, diseases interfering in lung function resulting in a ventilation perfusion mismatch, such as pulmonary embolus, or alterations in the partial pressure of oxygen in the environment or lung alveoli, such as may occur at altitude or when diving. If oxygen delivery to cells is insufficient for the demand, hypoxia, the electrons will be shifted to pyruvic acid in the process of lactic acid fermentation. That this temporary measure anaerobic metabolism allows small amounts of energy to be released. Lactic acid buildup in causes of in tissues and blood is a sign of inadequate mitochondrial oxygenation, which may be due to hypoxemia, poor blood flow, example shock, or a combination of both. If severe or prolonged, it could lead to cell death. In humans, hypoxia is detected by the peripheral chemoreceptors in the carotid body and aortic body, with the carotid body chemoreceptors being the main mediators of reflex responses to hypoxia. This response does not control ventilation rate at normal PO2, but below normal, the activity of neurons innervating these receptors increases dramatically, so much so to override the signals from central chemoreceptors in the hypothalamus, increasing PO2 despite a falling PCO2. In most tissues of the body, the response to hypoxia is vasodilation. By widening the blood vessels are widened. The tissue grows, allows greater perfusion. By contrast, in the lungs, the response to hypoxia is vasoconstriction. This is known as hypoxic pulmonary vasoconstriction, HPV, not human papillomavirus. An oxygen concentrator is a device that concentrates the oxygen from a gas supply, typically ambient air, by selectively removing nitrogen to supply an oxygen enriched product gas stream. Two methods in common use are pressure swing adsorption and membrane gas separation. Home medical oxygen concentrators were invented in the early 1970s, with the manufacturing output of these devices increasing in the late 1970s. Union Carbide Corporation and Bendix Corporation US were both early manufacturers. Prior to that era, home medical oxygen therapy required the use of heavy, high-pressure oxygen cylinders or small cryogenic liquid oxygen systems. Both of these delivery systems required frequent home visits by suppliers to replenish oxygen supplies. The US Medicare switched from fee for service payment to a flat monthly rate for home oxygen therapy. In the mid 1980s, causing the durable medical equipment DME industry to rapidly embrace concentrators as a way to control costs. This reimbursement change dramatically decreased the number of primary health pressure and liquid oxygen delivery systems in use at homes in the US. At that time, oxygen concentrators became the preferred and most common means of delivering home oxygen. The number of manufacturers entering the oxygen concentrator market increased exponentially as a result of this change. Union Carbide Corporation invented the molecular sieve in the 1950s, which made these devices possible. It also invented the first cryogenic liquid home medical oxygen systems in the 1960s. Oxygen concentrators using pressure swing adsorption (PSA) technologies are used widely for oxygen provision in healthcare applications, especially where liquid or pressurized oxygen is too dangerous or inconvenient, such as in homes or in portable clinics. For other purposes, there are also concentrators based on nitrogen separation membrane technology. An oxygen concentrator takes in air and removes nitrogen from it, leaving an oxygen-enriched gas for use by people requiring medical oxygen due to low oxygen levels in their blood. Oxygen concentrators provide an economical source of oxygen in industrial process, where they are also known as oxygen gas generators or oxygen generating plants. These oxygen concentrators utilize a molecular sieve to absorb gases and operate on the principle of rapid pressure swing adsorption of atmospheric nitrogen onto zeolite minerals at high pressure. This type of adsorption system is therefore functionally a nitrogen scrubber, leaving the other atmospheric gases to pass through, leaving oxygen as the primary gas remaining. PSA technology is a reliable and economical technique for small to mid-scale oxygen generation. Cryogenic separation is more suitable at higher volumes, and external delivery is generally more suitable for smaller volumes. At high pressure, the porous zeolite absorbs large quantities of nitrogen because of its large surface area and chemical characteristics. The oxygen concentrator compresses air and passes it over zeolite, causing the zeolite to absorb the nitrogen from the air. It then collects the remaining gas, which is mostly oxygen, and the nitrogen dissolves from the zeolite under the reduced pressure to be vented. An oxygen concentrator has an air compressor, two cylinders filled with zeolite pellets, a pressure equalizing reservoir, and some valves and tubes. The first half cycle, the first cylinder receives the air from the compressor, which lasts about 3 seconds. During this time, the pressure in the first cylinder rises above atmospheric air to about 2.5 times normal atmospheric pressure, typically 20 psi or 138 kilopascal gauge or 2.36 atmospheres absolute. The zeolite becomes saturated with the nitrogen. As the first cylinder reaches near pure oxygen, there are small amounts of argon, carbon dioxide, water vapor, radon, and other atmospheric components in the first half cycle. A valve opens and the oxygen-enriched gas flows to the pressure equalizing reservoir, which connects to the patient's oxygen hose. At the end of the first half of the cycle, there is another valve position change. So the air from the compressor is directed to the second cylinder. The pressure in the first cylinder drops as the enriched oxygen moves into the reservoir, allowing the nitrogen to be dissolved back into the gas. Partway through the second half of the cycle, there is another valve position change to vent the gas in the first cylinder back into ambient atmosphere, keeping the concentration of oxygen in the pressure equalizing reservoir from falling below about 90%. The pressure in the hose delivering oxygen from the equalizing reservoir is kept steady at a pressure reducing valve. Older units by a pressure reducing valve. Older units are cycled with a period of about 20 seconds and supplied up to 5 liters per minute of about 90% oxygen. Since about 1999, units capable of supplying up to 10 liters per minute have been available. Classic oxygen concentrators use two bed molecular sieves. Newer concentrators use multi-bed molecular sieves. The advantage of the multi-bed technology is the increased availability and redundancy, as 10 liters per molecular sieves are staggered and multiplied on several platforms. In these, over 960 liters per minute can be produced. The ramp-up time, the elapsed time until a multi-bed concentrator is producing oxygen at more than 90% concentration, is often less than 2 minutes, much faster than simple two-bed concentrators. It's a big advantage in mobile emergency situations. The option to fill standard oxygen cylinders with high pressure boosters to ensure automatic failover to previously failed reserve cylinders to ensure the oxygen supply chain example in the case of a power failure is given to those systems. In membrane gas separation, membranes act as a permeable barrier which different compounds move across at different rates or do not cross at all. Since the early 2000s, a number of companies have produced portable oxygen concentrators. Typically, these devices produce the equivalent of 1 to 5 liters per minute of continuous oxygen flow, and they can use some version of pulse flow or demand flow to deliver oxygen only when the patient is inhaling. We can also provide a buses of oxygen either to provide higher intermittent flows or to reduce power consumption. Research into oxygen concentration is ongoing, and modern techniques suggest that the amount of adsorbent required by a medical oxygen concentrators can be potentially reduced by a factor of 3, while offering 10 to 20% higher oxygen recovery compared to a typical commercial unit. These portable concentrators typically plug into an electrical outlet and may have an internal battery or external battery pack for operation away from home and during power outages. Portable oxygen concentrators usually can be plugged into the DC outlet of a vehicle, and most of these devices are suitable for ambulatory use. Unlike in commercial airlines, users of aircraft without cabin pressurization need oxygen concentrators which are able to deliver enough flow rates even at high altitudes. Usually the demand or pulse flow oxygen concentrators are not used by patients while they are asleep. There have been problems with the oxygen concentrators not being able to detect when the sleeping patient is inhaling. Some larger portable oxygen concentrators are designed to operate in continuous flow mode in addition to pulse flow mode. Continuous flow mode is considered safe for night use when coupled with CPAP machine. In both clinical and emergency care situations, oxygen concentrators have the advantage of not being dangerous as oxygen cylinders, which can, if ruptured or leaking, greatly increase the combustion rate of fire. As such, oxygen concentrators are particularly advantageous in military or disaster disastrous situations where oxygen tanks may be dangerous or infeasible. Oxygen concentrators are considered sufficiently foolproof to be supplied to individual patients as a prescription item for use in their homes. Typically, they are used as an adjunct to CPAP treatment of severe sleep apnea. These also are there are also other medical uses for oxygen concentrators, including COPD and other respiratory diseases. Used and refurbished units should be purchased through a reputable dealer. Temperamental units are worthless to the medical community. Since an individual's health frequently relies on the constant extended operation of the unit. However, such units are valuable to metal and glasswork hobbies. Because oxygen is a permanent gas, cannot be liquefied at any pressure at room temperature. It is expensive to obtain in bottle form. Oxygen is the third most widely used chemical in the world. Annual worldwide market of over $9 billion. It keeps increasing. Oxygen in medicine, inhalation therapy during surgery to maintain tissue oxygenation under anesthesia, resuscitation of patients, the treatment of such diseases as chronic obstructive pulmonary diseases, COPD, which I mentioned before, by pneumonia and pulmonary embolism. For a newborn experiencing respiratory distress syndrome, the treatment of respiratory burns or poisoning by carbon monoxide and other chemical substances. Portable oxygen concentrators. Currently, no portable device capable of producing 99% oxygen continuously. Concentration. Portable oxygen cylinders with 99% oxygen concentration lasts up to 88 hours. Percentage of individuals suffering from lung diseases such as COPD is increasing. COPD is the fourth leading cause of death worldwide. Air separation methods, cryogenic distillation, membrane separation, pressure swing adsorption, PSA. Cryogenic separation, leading pressure process for producing 99% oxygen in bulk, involves liquefying air and distilling the liquid air to separate the oxygen, nitrogen and argon. Can be sold in a liquid form. 1 liter of liquid oxygen is equal to 860 liters of gaseous oxygen. It is pressurized like a LPG, liquefied petroleum gas. Medical oxygen may be used for patients requiring supplemental oxygen via mask, usually accomplished by a large storage system of liquid oxygen at the hospital, which is evaporated into a concentrated oxygen supply. Pressures are usually about 345 to 380 kilopascals, or in the UK and Europe 4 to 5 bar. This arrangement is described as vacuum insulated evaporator or bulk tank in small medical centers with a low patient capacity. Oxygen is usually supplied by a manifold of multiple high pressure cylinders in areas where a bulk system or high pressure cylinder manifold is not suitable. Oxygen may be supplied by an oxygen concentrator. However, on-site production of oxygen is still a relatively new technology. That is what we need to go for in hospitals and all that, where medical oxygen is required. Oxygen used in hospitals requires standardization defined by the WHO, World Health Organization, US, Indian, and UK pharmacopoeia. Oxygen purity must not be less than 99% parts per million, the 1% being argon and nitrogen. Besides other contaminants like carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, we ensure that our compliance meets specifications of identification and odor. And impurities such as CO2, carbon dioxide, is mandated not more than 300 ppm, and CO, carbon monoxide, not more than 5 ppm in gaseous form. Oxygen saturation is a fraction of oxygen saturated hemoglobin related to total hemoglobin, and unsaturated plus saturated in the blood. The human body requires and regulates a very precise and specific balance of oxygen in the blood. Normal arterial blood oxygen saturation levels in humans are 95 to 100%. If the level is below 90%, it is considered low and called hypoxemia. Arterial blood oxygen levels below 80% may compromise organ functions such as the brain and heart and should be promptly addressed. Continued low oxygen levels may lead to respiratory or cardiac arrest. Oxygen therapy may be used to assist in raising blood oxygen levels. Oxygenation occurs where oxygen molecules O2 enters the tissues of the body. For example, blood is oxygenated in the lungs where oxygen molecules travel from the air and into the blood. Oxygenation is commonly used to refer to medical oxygen saturation. The body maintains a stable level of oxygen saturation for the most part by chemical process of aerobic metabolism associated with the breathing. Using the respiratory system, blood cells, specifically the hemoglobin, gather oxygen in the lungs and distribute it to the rest of the body. The needs of the body's blood oxygen may fluctuate, such as during exercise where more oxygen is required or when living at higher altitudes. A blood cell is said to be saturated when carrying a normal amount of oxygen. Both too high and too low levels can cause adverse effects in the body. Pulse oximetry is a method used to estimate the percentage of oxygen bound to hemoglobin in the blood. This approximation to saturated oxygen is designated as SpO2, peripheral oxygen saturation. Pulse oximeter consists of a small device that clips to the body, typically a finger or earlobe or an infant's foot, and transfers its readings to a reading meter by wire or wirelessly. The device uses light emitting diodes, LED, of different colors in conjunction with a light sensitive sensor to measure the absorption of red and infrared light in the extremity. The difference in absorption between oxygenated and deoxygenated hemoglobin makes the calculation possible. Even for taking the blood sugar in the blood, this is used. This kind of technique is used. Medical oxygen demand in India is skyrocketing, attributed to rapid spread of COVID-19. Hospitals from Lucknow to Delhi have put up notices stating oxygen shortage, and several hospitals had to refuse admitting patients, or some hospitals insist that when the patient's relatives bring the patient to the hospital, they need to come with a medical oxygen cylinder for admitting patients. As of Tuesday, 21st April, 1.75% of the patients were in ICU, intensive care unit beds. ICU. 0.4% were on ventilators, and 4.03% were occupying oxygen beds. Since the total active cases have now risen to 20 lakhs, more than 20 lakhs, the number of patients requiring oxygen beds is significant. Maharashtra's consumption of medical oxygen has utilized the state's full production capacity of 250 metric tons. State has 6.38 lakh active cases. It would have increased. This is a old figure, and about 60,000 to 63,000 are on oxygen support, the highest for any state. Maharashtra is additionally taking 50 tons of oxygen from Chhattisgarh and another 50 tons from Gujarat daily. Reliance plant in Jamnagar will also be delivering 100 tons from Gujarat. Madhya Pradesh, which is reporting the highest oxygen shortage, requires at least 250 metric tons of medical oxygen daily for its tally of more than 78,000 active patients as of 21st April. All these figures are increased. Keeps increasing every nanosecond. The state relies on Gujarat Chhattisgarh and Uttar Pradesh for its oxygen supply, medical oxygen supply. We are not talking about industrial use, as it does not have its own manufacturing plant. Gujarat's requirement has crossed 500 metric tons per day for over more than 62,000 active COVID-19 cases as of 18th April. India's oxygen reserves are fast depleting. Based on current demand, it may run out of stocks in a few weeks, even if all oxygen is diverted to medical use. On 22nd April, major hospitals in the national capital nearly ran out of oxygen for the third consecutive day. Oxygen cylinders were looted in Madhya Pradesh town. Uttar Pradesh put restrictions on individual purchase of oxygen cylinders at a time when breathless COVID-19 patients have been unable to find hospital beds. An oxygen leakage in Maharashtra left 22 patients dead. States traded charges over oxygen blockades. The dramatic late-night hearing on 21st April, precipitated by a top private hospital in Delhi. Delhi is struggling, pleading that it had just 2 hours of oxygen left. The Delhi High Court ordered the central government to deploy paramilitary forces to provide safe passage to oxygen tankers headed to the capital. Just 2 weeks ago, the central government had said India was consuming less than 60% of its daily oxygen production for medical use. Look at the situation now. The country has a daily production capacity of 7,127 metric tons of oxygen per day, said the Health Ministry in a press statement on April 15. On 12th April 2021, the medical oxygen consumption in the country was 3,842 metric tons, that is 54% of the daily production capacity on 12th April. Additionally, the ministry claimed that there were stocks in excess of 50,000 metric tons. India's total daily production of oxygen is 7,127 metric tons. A bulk of these is produced in dedicated cryogenic air separator units that manufacture oxygen of high purity. The science behind these plants is simple. Ambient air is cooled such that nitrogen and oxygen are the two main constituents separate based on their boiling points. But not all the oxygen produced by cryogenic air separator units is meant for medical use. A significant part is earmarked for industrial use. So many industries need oxygen, especially for gas welding, for so many other purposes. On 18th April, the central government prohibited manufacturers from supplying oxygen for non-medical use, but exempted 9 industries: ampoules and vials, pharmaceutical, steel plants, petroleum refineries, nuclear energy facilities, oxygen cylinder manufacturers, wastewater treatment plants, food and water purification, process industries, that require uninterrupted operation of furnaces. These 9 industries use around 2,500 metric tons of oxygen. According to an official of the Petroleum and Explosive Safety Organization, who spoke on the condition of anonymity. The organization, part of the Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade under the Commerce and Industries Ministry, is monitoring the distribution of oxygen in the country. Effectively, this leaves just over 4,600 metric tons for medical use. That's a fact. On 21st April, an official of the central government told Delhi High Court that the daily demand for medical oxygen in the country had risen to 8,000 metric tons. See the changes, drastic changes. This means that India's daily requirement of medical oxygen is currently about 70% more than the amount that has been exempted from industrial use. (4,600 metric tons) as per an official at the government agency monitoring oxygen use. If India's current resources, 50,000 metric tons, were used, to fill the gap between demand and supply of medical oxygen, 3,500 metric tons, 3,400 metric tons. They would cover barely 2 weeks of need based on current demand. This is assuming the reserves are entirely used for medical purposes and the demand does not rise. On Wednesday, the Delhi High Court urged the central government to stop all industrial use of oxygen and divert it to medical purposes, but it did not pass any orders to this effect. Prime Minister's office recently released a statement that against the present demand from 20 states of 6,785 metric tons per day of liquid medical oxygen, the Government of India has from 21st April allocated 6,822 metric tons per day to these states. It did not give the data for aggregate demand for medical oxygen from all 28 states and 9 union territories, UTs. Even if India's entire daily production of 7,127 metric tons of oxygen is diverted for medical use, the country is still likely to face a shortfall. The current level of demand for medical oxygen, 8,000 metric tons, already outstrips combined daily production of industrial and medical oxygen, 7,127 medical oxygen by 873 metric tons. Simple maths. Simple arithmetic. Right? As per the central government's own admission in court, if this were the case, the reserves of 50,000 metric tons could be used to fill the gap for 2 months, assuming none of it is used for industrial purposes and the demand remains the same. This is most unlikely considering the spiral increase in demand for medical oxygen, and no mathematical model is capable of predicting the demand in forthcoming periods. Even if Shakuntala Devi had been alive, Ramanujam, they would not come up with a model that can predict. Man proposes, but God disposes. Emergency import tenders have been floated to procure 50,000 metric tons of oxygen, besides cryogenic oxygen tankers, oxygen concentrators, etc. Last year there was a shortage of ventilators and all that. Okay. Situation keeps cleaning. So many countries have come forward to help India during this great situation. $1 billion question is when are we likely to get them? India is very popular for black marketing of everything for which there is scarcity, whether genuine or artificial, as a result of hoarding. Black marketers made a killing last year selling products in demand like hand sanitizers, medical masks, gloves, PPEs, personal protective equipment, etc. Now they are minting money in all ways possible by black marketing life-saving drugs like Remdesivir, besides medical oxygen. In most likely future, they are bound to black market even vaccines for COVID-19. Government should use all power and use military to kill such beasts. It should be medical war against such heartless perpetrators. They deserve capital punishment like in Saudi Arabia. They should be done to death in the most cruel manner so that it's a lesson for the other perpetrators. Torture them to death. Debates, discussion on open-ended topics like this can go on forever. Anyhow, let me pull the plug here. We'll meet again real soon with another interesting topic. Some of the statements, views expressed are solely mine based on limited knowledge gained over 6 decades of versatile experience. Always watch these videos with the closed caption, subtitles for absolute 100% comprehension as per my sincere recommendation. Zillion times so far. I know you must to complete the presentation within 20 minutes maximum. This time limit is self-imposed to retain the viewer's attention as a norm. I am quite aware of the fact that I exceed this time limit. Sometimes I take double or even triple this time. Today I should have taken almost triple this time, depending on the topic, since I make honest attempts to cover the selected topic more elaborately, including so many intricate fine details, referring a wide variety of sources, in particular Wikipedia quite extensively, besides articles and books published recently. Besides, of course, I sprinkled my own salt and pepper and seasoned it with my personal experiences so far in my life and also intuition. Stay at home as much as possible to maintain social distancing, attributed to pandemic novel COVID-19 and prolong your lifespan. Lead a healthy life. God, also known as the supreme power, is the one and only one that can put a stop to natural, unnatural, maybe bio and cyber war events like pandemics and epidemics, which ultimately paves the way for apocalypse and extinction of all sentient species on earth for no fault of theirs. That's why I said man proposes, but God disposes. Supreme. Rest in peace and harmony. See, today